Welcome back, folks. My name is Joseph Igo, and today we are previewing this weekend's Cup Series race in Atlanta. Yes, the dust has finally settled from the Daytona 500 and all the calamity and uh, outrage, or whatever you want to call it, the aftermath of the wild Daytona 500, where William Byron got his victory. Another great chance for William Byron to win this week. Two-time winner on this new Atlanta configuration. So we'll have to see on that. But before we get anything else, I just gotta acknowledge I'm not sure if he'll watch this video or not. But sending my thoughts, prayers, and love to my buddy Andrew, who unfortunately lost his mom last night. If you are watching this, Andrew, hang in there, bro. We're all with you, and we love you. Let's move on. All right, so like I said, the dust has settled from the wild week at Daytona, and of course now we head into another super speedway as the super speedway hatred. Is that what we want to call it? Is it hatred? I mean, it's getting a lot of criticism, so yeah, no, it's. But as a lot of people have mentioned this week, Atlanta, even though it's a super speedway, it doesn't seem to have those same issues as Daytona and Talladega. So we'll see. I think we can expect nothing but great racing this weekend because that's all it's produced since the configuration Atlanta has. And we'll see. I think a lot of this super speedway talk has gotten a little bit overblown. I still think the package is fine. I think we can work on it, but I think as far as Atlanta is concerned, I think we are in the sweet spot with Atlanta. And I think, as a lot of people have noted this week, it's going to get better as the track ages. And I think that's a big thing we got to look for this week is how has Atlanta, the track surface, aged? Because when we start seeing that, how is that going to affect the type of racing we see at Atlanta? Because we really don't know. Is it going to go back? Will it go back to, more of an intermediate type racing, or will it stay more like a super speedway? That's a big mystery that we'll have to wait and see. But I still think we're going to probably see more super speedway type racing because it's only been a few years since the repave. So I still think we got a lot more time before we really see a significant amount of aging on Atlanta Motor Speedway. But who cares? I love the racing at Atlanta currently. So if it races just like it did last year, sign me up. I will take 10 more races of that. Please and thank you. But no, yeah, like I mentioned, obviously, if you were watching last year, you saw the insanity that took place at Atlanta, especially in this specific race in the spring last year with a 3-wide finish with Daniel Suarez getting the best of Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney there at the line. Definitely, I mean, I mentioned this in a previous video, just how that Atlanta race, the second race of the season last year, was one of those races where I was like 50 laps away from the checkered flag, and I'm just sitting there saying, yeah, we're watching a classic race right now. And then we got the 3-wide photo finish. So if that doesn't prove Atlanta is one of the top 2 or 3 tracks in NASCAR right now, I don't know what will. But yeah, Atlanta's incredible. Obviously, in the summer, we had Joey Logano getting the win. Kind of I don't want to say similar to how that duel ended, but, caution thrown on the last lap as the field's coming to the start-finish. But, he was probably going to win that race anyway and probably deserved to win that race. So we'll see. But this is if I do have one complaint about the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, it is that pit road, dude. That pit road, I don't know. I don't know what the consensus is among fans on that, but as far as I'm concerned, I think that pit road is just stupid. I mean, I understand why we have to have it that way because of, how tight Atlanta is. There's not really a good way to create a safe space to get off of the track in a normal fashion. So for those who don't know, the way you enter pit road at Atlanta is you get off the racetrack entering turn 3, and there's like what would you call it? Like a preliminary pit road speed. I believe it's like 90 or 95 miles an hour is the speed between like turns 3 to the entrance of the actual pit road when you have to get down to, it's either 45 or 55 miles an hour. but it's one of the most bizarre things we have in this sport. I mean, Atlanta Motor Speedway as a whole is one of the most bizarre and unique things that our sport does as far as tracks are concerned. But that pit road is really weird. So we'll see. We're just gonna wait and see on that, but we'll give our opinions on that after the race, and we'll see how things play out. We've had issues on pit road here before, especially entering, people trying to go in a little too hot. So, and I know we got guys who like to do that because obviously one, we've seen it, but yeah. So let's get on to my race picks. So I got some sleepers. I got a group of people who I think will be in contention for the win, and then I got a defined winner pick. So let's get into these. So as far as my sleepers are concerned, and it might be funny to call him a sleeper, but Daniel Suarez obviously got the win here in the spring last year in that photo finish. But I think something we have to realize is, Suarez kind of gets overlooked at a lot of tracks, but in Atlanta, he has been sneaky good even when he's not winning. I think it's something crazy where he has like two or three second place finishes in the last like 4 or 5 Atlanta races on top of the win. So Suarez is a very sneaky driver here in Atlanta, and I think as far as his season goes, obviously it's looking like he's going to probably need a win to get in the playoffs, obviously. And then as far as his job goes, we'll have to see beyond 2025, and especially with Pitbull leaving Trackhouse and Connor Zilic coming up, it would be very good for Suarez to win a race, and I think he's got a good chance this weekend. As far as some of the other sleepers, Ross Chastain, Suarez's teammate, Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland, Chase Briscoe, who obviously had some drama drop last night with the big penalty. So it's tough to say he's in a must-win situation, but it's as must-win as it gets probably for Chase Briscoe. And he's been great on drafting tracks. So definitely could be in contention for this race. I'm not sure how the 19 car has fared on the new Atlanta Super Speedway or Motor Speedway. I'd have to go back and check on that. But as far as the driver's concerned, I know Briscoe's great on drafting tracks. So another guy who's incredible on drafting tracks is Corey LaJoie, running back-to-back races to start the year here. I don't know when his next race will be after this, but obviously he's not running full-time this year. There was a point actually in some of these Atlanta races in the new configuration where LaJoie was seriously in contention for the win. So Corey LaJoie obviously also was leading some laps in last week's Daytona 500. So definitely look out for Corey LaJoie to be in the mix and potentially steal a win here, which would be nuts if he does. So let's get on to my potential winners. I call this group the potential winners if it's not my winner. So this group is who I think it will be if it's not my winner. So I got Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. Obviously, William Byron, like we kind of mentioned at the top, has 2 wins on this Atlanta Motor Speedway configuration. So certainly, I mean, and this is also kind of the thing is Byron's really good at, in this early window of the season, rattling off a bunch of wins. So I certainly think he's going to be in the mix this weekend, and that would be quite the start to the year if he went back-to-back. So we'll see about that. Chase Elliott, another guy who's been really good at this Atlanta configuration. We'll have to see. He's obviously had a really good start to the year, great end of the last year. Certainly somebody who I expect to be competitive throughout the day. Christopher Bell, a sneaky super speedway driver. I mean, look at last week. He got wrecked. He was the one who got turned and eventually sent Ryan Preece airborne there. Not his fault, obviously, but just, Bell has a tendency to be one of these guys who obviously is one of the best drivers in the series, but is a guy we kind of look over when it comes to super speedways. And he's a guy who consistently puts himself in position to win these races. So even if he's not winning these races, so keep an eye out for Christopher Bell. And then obviously we got the 2 Penske boys in this group with Joey Logano and Austin Cindric. It's no secret Logano's won a couple times at this track, and won the last time we were here. So definitely look out for those 2. And Cindric, we all know Cindric's a great super speedway driver, but I think just listening to some of the drivers talk about Cindric this week, I hope it's really opened the eyes of some people who were maybe not as aware of how good Austin Cindric is at these tracks. Uh, and I think the books are seeing that too. I saw some of the sports books put out Austin Cindric at a lot higher of odds than he's used to. So, and he definitely deserves it. So, and then Bubba Wallace obviously looked really good at Daytona last week. Did not come out with the result he wanted, but we all know how good Bubba is on drafting tracks, and yeah, I think I fully expect him to be in the mix. 2311 Toyota as a whole has shown some good speed this year so far, and I would argue Wallace might be the fastest of the Toyotas so far. So look out for Bubba. And then let's get into my race winner. I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I think Ryan Blaney obviously was the one who lost out in that 3 wide photo finish, second to Daniel Suarez last spring. And, you know, I mean, for a lot of the, excuse me, for a lot of the closing laps there in the end of the Daytona 500, I thought Ryan Blaney was definitely in the mix to win. I mean, was obviously leading his line when he was wrecked. So, and then obviously put in a miraculous drive in the Clash, even though we all know it's just a Clash. And then, kind of like I mentioned with Chase Elliott, fantastic end of the last year. Has got a lot of momentum coming in here, has raced really well here. Obviously, Penske should probably be the favorite, whether that be him, Logano, or Cindric, coming into the weekend with their super speedway abilities and Penske super speedway abilities. So I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I think this would be a good start to the year for Blaney. Typically a little earlier than he likes to get his first win of the year. I think last year his first win didn't come till Iowa in the summer. So would be great for Ryan Blaney, to get an early win and then, go on that run in the summer like he talked about going on last year, which he did go on last year, just, came up a car length or two short in the championship. But yeah, I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I think he gets it done. I think he probably gets pushed to the win by one of his Penske teammates. And yeah, we'll see. So that'll do it, folks. Stay tuned for any more content I have coming leading up to the Atlanta race, the Am Better Health 400 on Sunday. Green flag for that is slated for 3:19 Eastern time. So make sure on Big Fox. So make sure you tune in. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care. God bless.